This video is about what we did directly after the boot camp, where we are now, and how we got to here. I can't stop smiling. I can't stop it. Oh, we are back.
8 months.
Ready to go. Not much has happened. So, thanks for watching.
Yeah, things have been kind of crazy, obviously, especially with COVID, but that obviously
That only started a few months ago.
makes no sense as to why we didn't post anything. But we're just going to get right into it.
So essentially, when Flatiron School ended our boot camp, we actually right before it ended, so we were on our final projects. We ended up moving back home. We actually made a video about that to finish our final projects, and we knew we thought we wanted to find jobs in that area. So we moved back home, so we had the ability to use our time to look for jobs and spend our days doing that in a non-distracting environment.
The best part about it is we did find jobs. So basically what happened is we both got jobs. I ended up going to Arizona for training for 2 months. Matt went to Texas.
However, it was not easy to get the jobs. There was a lot of work that got put into it. And so what we want to do is tell you exactly what we did to get jobs. We actually got multiple offers, both of us, and ended up choosing what ended up being a lower paying job.
Yeah.
For the couple reasons. So I would say it took us 2 months.
Yeah, about 2 months.
2 months before we got offers, multiple offers. And in that time, we knew we were gonna have to put in just a shit ton of work. Essentially more work than the actual amount of time that you put into the boot camp. At the boot camp, you're just learning, but afterwards the pressure's on, you have to go get a job, you gotta get paid, and you're trying to be able to apply the skills and get some real world professional experience from everything that you just learned.
Especially when you're graduating from something like a boot camp where it's not as reputable, say as CS degree, at least in the eyes of employers. You need to definitely put in as much time into applying for jobs and updating your resume and things like that as you put into the boot camp.
So here's generally how we broke down our days/weeks. So we would find a coffee shop. We figured that if we can get out of the house, we would have a better environment to just be putting work in. So we would generally go to a coffee shop around 8 a.m., get up early, take a shower, get yourself refreshed, eat something.
A little coffee.
A little caffeine. Start to check emails and stuff like that, see if there's anything you need to reply to. And we'd spend about, maybe 2 hours applying to jobs, just straight applying to jobs. And there's a whole bunch of different sites you can use. We'll even list some in the description if that's helpful. So we'd spend about 2 hours in the morning applying to jobs directly. And that would end up being about I would say anywhere between 15 and 25 jobs that we would apply to in the first 2 hours of our day, Monday through Friday.
Yep.
So once you're done actually applying to jobs, we wanted to make sure that we're staying sharp with coding. And so we were practicing a little bit by doing personal projects, making sure all that was deployed. You want to make sure it's all on a presentable website. Because we don't have any actual professional experience, you want to have your projects presentable and on a place where people and employers and recruiters can go and look at the work you've done, have the GitHub repositories or wherever you're hosting your code linked so they can take a look at the code if it's going to get to that point, and have your resume in the same spot. We would mix, I would say, our coding with personal projects, but we would also mix it with practicing like leak code, practicing algorithms. We knew that was going to be data structures and algorithms. We knew that was going to be a factor during the job search and during interviews. So we started to put in a lot more time during that because the boot camp didn't really hit that very hard at all.
I didn't do any algorithms.
No.
Okay. That's definitely very important, especially for coding interviews. When you're whiteboarding, you need to know algorithms. You need to know how to deal with data structures, things like that. So definitely get that practice in as much as you can.
And that would probably take up the next 3, maybe 4 hours of the day.
Yeah.
Because it's really easy to lose the skills and to lose knowledge you have about whether it be specific language, whether it be design architecture, whether it be a framework, whatever it is, it's easy to lose it. So when you go into the interview, you want to make sure you're still prepared for it.
Right, and that obviously goes back into the earlier point of competitiveness. Need to be sharp in all areas. So practicing everything once you graduate the boot camp is vital to landing a job.
As you apply to more jobs, you're going to start to have recruiters and internal staff reaching out to you. And so you got to start to set time away in your day for interviews, phone screens, just general things, networking in general, kind of meeting and talking to people and getting your name out there and your skill set out there and the fact that you're looking for a job. Especially with recruiters. I mean, some people say avoid recruiters. I disagree with that.
I disagree with that completely.
Recruiters are an insane resource that you don't have to pay for them in the most part.
Sometimes you do.
Yeah, I've never run into a recruiter where they're like, you have to pay for the service.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of recruiters are making money off your placement, and that's where they're getting paid. So I don't know if it's a commission to them, but it's in their best interest to get you a job. So it's worth connecting with them. And they have way more connections than any of us do.
Right.
So let them know what you're looking for, because if they don't have the role that is going to fit your skill set, they might know one of their buddies on another team or in a different recruiting company or anywhere that will have something that fits what you're looking for.
Once you land that first job, it's going to be so much easier to get that second job.
People say that first job experience is crucial. It is 100% true. Once you have job experience on your resume, it's a complete game changer. You're going to start to get reached out for mid-level positions, senior level positions, like complete turn of the tide.
Instantly senior.
You are
After the
instantly
first job.
an expert programmer.
What?
Mark Zuckerberg.
Oh,
Nice to meet you.
With this industry, it's very network heavy. So the bigger network that you have definitely makes a difference. So we actually went on a road trip for 2 weeks. We were in Colorado for a while, and we ended up at just going into some random boot camp there and just talking to people, making connections. So the bigger network that you have, I think, is definitely going to help you in the long run.
As far as networking, a huge resource is going to meetups, going to events, whether it's recruiting events or whether it's like there's this one kind of a program called Code for America, and they have different sections in different cities. So we're in Massachusetts. They had something called Code for Boston. I was able to go, and they'll put you on an open source project in which you can work on what is seemingly a professional code base with other pretty good engineers, if not expert engineers.
Which can be intimidating.
But it could be your first exposure.
Yeah, but who cares? It's exposure.
Right.
You're getting exposure to the code and to the people.
And you're meeting people. It's where I got one of my first interviews. I went there because someone went to this Code for Boston event to talk to junior engineers because they were hiring at the company Hopper. Airplane. They find you cheap airplanes. Not cheap airplanes.
Buy airplanes for so cheap on this.
I've been to a bunch of coding events. I mean, I went to like an awards show for tech, and I met tons of people. Got like 3 or 4 interviews, literally from just going to that and talking to people. Networking and being able to talk to someone in person and tell them, listen, I'm looking for a job. This is what I can do. I'm on the junior level, but I can go in. I'm going to work harder than the other guy.
Because I mean, regardless, resumes are nice. Obviously, employers want to see resumes, but if they can meet you, a lot of times you're going to be working on a team. So like they want to meet you, know what you're like, know your personality, things like that. So anytime you have the chance to be in person, meeting employers, that's more beneficial.
I think a downfall for your first development job is, or at least searching for your first development job, is trying to look in a single place. Whether it's, if we were just looking in Boston, we were in DC, if we were just looking in DC, you are minimizing the opportunities that you're going to be able to get. Also, different technologies are more prominent in different areas, but overall, if you expand, especially if you're in the United States, if you expand your search to whether it's like the Eastern Seaboard or everywhere east of the Mississippi, if you expand your job search to a bigger locale, a bigger geolocation, you are definitely going to get more opportunities for interviews and therefore more opportunities to receive a job offer.
Obviously makes sense, and because I had a ton of interviews, and I had one in Colorado, I had a few in California, I had one in Arizona. You know what I mean? So it's like you definitely need to reach out to people as much as you can.
We're gonna wrap this up. We hope that was some valuable content for you. We want to come out with more videos. We know we say that every single video. We will come out with more videos.
Things have changed. We're in a better place now.
Better.
I don't mean that mentally. I just mean, I guess, proximity.
If you want to be able to see those videos, then you should like and subscribe. We're going to start saying that. It's important.
So yeah.
Okay, bye.
Talk to you soon. I'm just going to try to say